even if it hasn't happened, I want to make sure it looks like something that could happen. And that's a little bit more difficult than actually saying that was not the way it was and we could change that. So it gets harder, but it's also more fun because we get to do awesome things like go to asteroids, right?
First, I would just love to hear about, in terms of authenticity, from sort of all your perspectives, what the biggest challenges have been this season. For scientific authenticity or era-specific authenticity, anything like that.
Okay, I'll start out because it seems like I always start out. So I would say authenticity is a very, very key part of our show. We really want to make things be believable, and even if we can investigate it further and actually have the real idea from NASA come through, we're going to try to do it. Case in point, the design of the habitats on Mars are designed to resist radiation. They're designed to conserve heat, and of course, they have everything that's needed to live off-grid. So there's energy production and everything else.
Our challenge, or my challenge, was designing the new season spacesuit. The suit is not a futuristic suit. It's a suit that's meant to exist in 2003. So there were some limitations, but there was also a lot of room for design. And so we also had a number of things we needed to address in terms of comfort, mobility, safety. We also had to address all those aspects of suit design that should be there, function in the real world, in terms of temperature control.
Yeah. We had a lot of cool conversations about how it was going to reject heat and how it had to have a radiator and something there would work. So
there was a lot of elements, real elements, that needed to be included in the design of the suit. I think we did a pretty decent job.
Did a great job.
And thank you. And I think we addressed everything that we sort of went to accomplish. It's a very sleek design, and I think it works really well with
we have
scenic
places
elements
where we accommodate her spacesuits. For example, in our rovers, our rovers are designed so that people can be fully suited and go in and out of that rover.
I'm not sure if you have.
As a technical consultant, my job keeps getting harder. Right, every season it gets harder because in season 1 we had Apollo spacecraft, and it was very easy for me because that's rooted in fact and history. And then season 2 was probably the easiest for me because I flew in the space shuttle, and so it was so easy for me to say like, no, that actor is reaching for the wrong switch. They should be pushing this one over here. Now, starting with season 3 and now especially season 4, we're extrapolated beyond where we actually have been able to go in real life. So now it's like I don't know where the thing should be. This thing doesn't exist, right? So I as a result, there's a tendency I think to try to we can take more liberties, which is liberating. But at the same time, it's like I really want to make sure this is something that can happen, even if it hasn't happened. I want to make sure it looks like something that could happen, and that's a little bit more difficult than actually saying that was not the way it was and we could change that. So it gets harder, but it's also more fun because we get to do awesome things like go to asteroids, right?
Where do you think you've maybe taken the most creative liberties when it comes to maybe not so authentic things in the show?
Everyone's looking at me. Okay, so I am going to say what Garrett just brought up about the asteroid is really we're starting from scratch here. How does a little teeny little spaceship go and find an asteroid and capture it and bring it back to Mars orbit? How could that possibly happen?
You gotta watch the episode.
You have to find that out. But we figured it out, and we have some incredibly compelling looking sets designed in order to do that, which of course we ran by Garrett. We wanted to make sure it's all cool looking, and they're floating around in space, and those space suits get seen extremely well.
Yeah.
So that was really, really a fun part of the show.
There is a little stretch that I'll
A
need.
little stretch.
A little stretch that I'll need to own up to in terms of our spacesuit. The suit was envisioned as a Mars surface suit, which is actually different to a suit that's worn in outer space. But we did double duty on our suit, replacing the backpack with a fuller mobility unit. Yeah. So that was our little stretch. But I think we managed the crossover.
I think it's plausible. I buy it. As far as from my perspective, as far as where we took the most liberties, I can probably answer that with 2 words, which is orbital mechanics. I can't give out any spoilers, but when you some of the stuff in later episodes. But I tell my students at USC, where I'm a professor, that when they complain about some of these things, it's like, look, you've all seen the Oscars, right? The Academy Awards. They give out, what do they give out those little statues for? They give them for best art direction, best actor, best director, best costume design, right? Do you ever see them give one out for best orbital mechanics? No, right? They don't. So, you come on. You got to take some liberties. The stories are really the important thing.